The role of a call handler is, a lot more responsibility than you might realise. It's an amazing responsibility, and you're the first point of call when somebody comes through. You treat people how you want to be treated. People come through, may not realise how serious the thing they are calling about is, or it might be the opposite, where they think it's really serious and it's not. You're that middleman that reassures them or kind of pushes them in the right direction for something more serious.
You need to be a good listener. You need to be able to take down, actively listen to the patients and make sure you're getting down all the relevant details. You need to have kind of some form of empathy with them, because I think sometimes when they're phoning in and they're a bit stressed, they need to have somebody on the line that's reassuring and quite friendly with them. I think those are the two main ones. The empathy and the listening is important, but you need to be able to kind of, although being empathetic, you need to make sure that you're getting the job done. You need to be focused on what you're doing.
The most challenging aspect about the job is there is calls that are going to stay with you, but you learn to deal with it. Each call you kind of struggle off the last one and move on to the next one. You might get someone that's a bit aggressive, or you might get one that just kind of makes you hurt and you just feel sorry for them. Could be something where they end up needing an ambulance and it just really gets to you because of personal experience. If anything like that happens, I know they have opportunities to speak to somebody if you've got any problems. If you're, even after the call you need to take a walk away, you're able to do that. So for me, that's probably the most difficult part, is the calls that stay with you. But the calls that do stay with you, you're still glad that you dealt with them, because you recognised things quickly and you knew how to speak to them and you did what you could afterwards.
Definitely trying to keep a sort of short memory. You can't let one call sort of impact the outcome of a separate call. Sort of keeping that sort of cool head along with it, and making sure that you're giving the best service at all times, despite something maybe being difficult, whether or not the caller's being stressed or it's maybe something that you personally relate to, like a sort of elderly woman that's maybe potentially a bit like your gran. You can't be taking that sort of mindset where you're a bit upset into the next call, because ultimately everyone deserves your sort of best patient facing, and that's really important.
I'd say other aspects of being a call handler is just being personable, knowing your process as well, the training. Just make sure everything that they tell you, you take on board. My training was extremely beneficial to me. Ever since I started, it's dead intense. First day we come into training, and I think even I went home pure crying in the car, like, oh, there's so much to deal with. And by the end of it, I was like, ready to go when we starting. It's just a lot to take in at first, but they go through every tiny detail with you. And once you get out there, it's just like that. It just becomes second nature.
There's not typically a sort of regular shift here, but I guess really, you're 6 hours supported by the nurses staff, and you're sort of just getting through everything together, taking each individual call, because they are all different, but the training's the same. You're sort of taking it through the same way every way, and you're always supported through that. So albeit there's not a typical shift, what you're doing's almost the same.
Hi, I'm Shannon, one of the clinical supervisors from NHS 24. I've worked here for now over a year. My background is acute general medicine. I've worked there for 4 years before coming here. My role within the organisation is to support the call handler when triaging the calls from the general public. From that information the call handlers gather, myself and the other nurses will provide an outcome, ensuring safe and efficient patient journeys.
We're very keen in making sure that when you join the organisation, in whatever capacity, you understand where that could potentially lead. We've got centres all over Scotland. We've also got lots of different roles and different grades. So there really is a potential for promotion either within that, or indeed moving across to different areas. Some people like to do that job, and that's what suits them, but there are others, if they've got the ambition and the foresight, then they can simply have a career, absolutely.